Hello students, today we are on the 7th lecture of periodic classification, and in today's session we will be talking about electronegativity. Okay, what is electronegativity? Let us define this first. Okay, what is electronegativity? It is the tendency of bonded atom to attract shared pair of electron towards itself. Now each term, see, bonded atom means suppose you have A and B. There are two atoms. Okay, one atom is more powerful than the other to pull the electrons toward itself. So tendency of one of the atom to attract the shared pair, because each bond is formed of two electrons. So one of the atoms, say B, is more electronegative than the another, then B will pull both the electrons towards itself. It will pull both the electrons towards itself. So it is never decided for isolated atom. It is always for the bonded atom. In the bonded state, one atom pulls the shared pair of electron towards itself. As a result, what will happen? This B, which is pulling the electrons toward itself, acquires partial negative charge, and the other atom acquires partial positive charge. Okay, why partial? Because it is not a transfer. It is just the tendency of the atom. Now, since it is just a tendency, it has no units. Okay, normally children get confused between electron gain enthalpy and electronegativity. Now, let us see what is the major difference between the two. See, the first difference is in this, electron gain enthalpy, it is the property, it is the talking about the electron accepting. That means one atom accepts the electron, not a pair, accepts electron. One atom accepts electron, whereas here one atom attracts electron. It attracts electron. It is talking about attracting pair of electron. In fact, pair of electron, attracting a pair of electron towards itself. The second difference is, this is first difference. The second difference is, this is the electron gain enthalpy is the property of isolated atom. It's a property of isolated atom. Whereas electronegativity is the property of bonded atom. It is the property of bonded atom. A bonded atom will have a tendency to pull the electron pair towards itself. Clear? Now, this is for the electron gain enthalpy, it gives you the absolute value. It gives you absolute value. You can say this much is electron gain enthalpy. It gives you a fixed value. Whereas electronegativity, it only talks about relative value. We will be talking about the scales, then this point will be clear. It is only talking about relative. Means relative to one particular atom, we calculate the electronegativity of the another one. Electron gain enthalpy has units. It is measured in electron volt per atom, or you can say kilojoules per mole, whereas electronegativity has no units. Okay, so first, children, please prepare notes. As I am telling, first you will write definition, pause in between and write the notes, and then you will write the differences between electron gain enthalpy and electronegativity. Now let's see what factors affect electronegativity, right? The first factor is atomic radius or atomic size. Let us see about this. See, one atom which is having small size, another atom which is having number of shells, the size is big. Obviously, the one that is smaller in size, that will be able to pull the electrons of the bond to the greater extent, right? So we can say this first property, atomic radius, is directly proportional to the electronegativity. Smaller the size, inversely proportional, sorry, inversely proportional. Okay, smaller the size, more the electronegativity, larger the size, lesser the electronegativity. It is inversely related, 1 by electronegativity. Clear? Second, let us see the second factor is nuclear charge. Nuclear charge. You have again, suppose you talk about this only. If suppose you have more charge in the nucleus, okay, more charge is more positive particles in the nucleus, so then it will have more electronegativity. As we have discussed in the period, the effect of the nuclear charge is increasing, down the group effect of the nuclear charge is decreasing, so it is directly proportional. We can say a nuclear charge is directly proportional to electronegativity. Clear? Now another thing, the third factor we are taking, third factor is the charge on cation. Charge on cation. Now suppose I compare two species like Fe2 plus, Fe3 plus. Okay, so which will be able to pull electrons to greater extent? We know this is having more charge. More charge means it is smaller in size. Smaller in size means the effect of the nuclear charge is more in this. So this one will have more electronegativity. The first one will have less. This is, we can say, higher the positive charge, more is the electronegativity. Higher the positive charge, more is the electronegativity. You can take any other example and see. Suppose you are considering, say, Cu plus, Cu2 plus. This is having more charge, this will have more electronegativity. Got it? So first factor radius, second factor nuclear charge, third factor charge on the cation. Let us see the fourth factor. Fourth factor is the charge on anion. What about the charge on the anion? Suppose I say O minus or O2 minus, which will be able to pull the electrons to greater extent. In this case, this is already having extra electrons. This will not, it will be larger in size also. So this will obviously have a lesser electronegativity. So here it will be reverse. So lesser the charge, we can say lesser the negative charge, more will be the electronegativity. You can talk in terms of the size, you can talk in terms of the repulsion. In this case there is a repulsion, so it will not be able to pull the electron pair towards itself. Clear? Let us also consider here, say, N minus or N2 minus or N3 minus, which will have the maximum electronegativity. The first one, this will have the maximum, then this one, and then N3 minus. Okay, you will have all these type of questions in MCQs also. Got it? Now another factor, children, fifth factor. Though the fifth factor is not very much related to this chapter, but it is very, very important in the next chapter and throughout, organic chemistry also we will be talking about it. But as of now, you can just understand hybridization. You will be studying various types of hybridization, but we are considering mainly three types, that is sp, sp2 and sp3. You have idea about the orbitals, right? So this is having 1:1, means 50% s and 50% p. This is having, out of 3 orbitals, one is this, that is 1/3 of s character, 2/3 of p character. This is out of 4, 1/4 is s. Our total of 4, no? So 25 s character, it is 75 p character. So which will be more electronegative? So here we say more the s character, more is the electronegativity. Means you will have some examples where carbon itself may be having sp or sp2 or sp3 hybridization. In detail we will talk about this in organic chemistry, but as of now I can just mention this in your notes, that more the s character, more is the electronegativity, right? This you can just see for yourself. There are 2 orbitals, one s and one p. So total 2, out of 2 how much is s? I mean, out of 2, 1 is S. So 50% and 50%. Out total are 3, 1 S and 2 P. Total 3 में से 1 is S and 2 are P. So 1/3 and this is 2/3. This is out of 4, 1/4, 1 is S, 3 are P. So 1/4 and 3/4. Okay, so more the S character, this will be the order for the electronegativity. Till here clear, children? Now let's see how does the electronegativity vary in the group and the period. This is period. Yeah, in period we talk about from left to right, and this is down the group. In the group we talk about from top to bottom. Clear? Now this way, what is happening to the radius? Atomic radius is increasing. Nuclear charge. Nuclear charge is decreasing. So you will have electronegativity down the group decreases. It will decrease. Clear? Across the period, what is happening? Across the period, atomic radius is decreasing. Nuclear charge increases. So when the two are in, with this is mainly affecting. So nuclear charge is increasing. Electronegativity also will increase. Is it clear? Now let us see, various other things, which are important to understand electronegativity, because electronegativity is a very important aspect and you will have number of applications of this also. See, now let's see what are the scales of electronegativity. See, there are two main scales of electronegativity. The first one is Mulliken's scale. Mulliken scale. Now, what is Mulliken scale? According to Mulliken scale, electronegativity is the average of ionization enthalpy and electron gain enthalpy. That means if we know the ionization enthalpy and the electron gain enthalpy, you add the values divided by 2. So the average will be the electronegativity. Okay, this is generally given in electron volt per atom. But more commonly accepted one is the next one, that is Pauling's scale. Pauling's scale. This is majorly used. Now what is Pauling's scale? As per Pauling's scale, there is a formula to calculate the electronegativity. So he has given this formula. It is chi A minus chi B is equal to 0.208 root of EAB minus root of EAA multiplied by EBB. Now what is chi A and chi B, children? Suppose there are two atoms A and B. So the electronegativity of A is chi A. Electronegativity of B is chi B. This is electronegativity of B. And what are these? These are bond dissociation enthalpies. Bond dissociation enthalpies of AB. Likewise, bond dissociation enthalpy of AA. Bond dissociation enthalpy of BB. Right? So if we know the bond dissociation enthalpies and we know and the electronegativity of the another atom. Got it? If we know the bond dissociation enthalpies of AB, AA, BB and one of the electronegativity, the other one can be calculated. Or at times, even if we know the electronegativity and any one of this quantity is not known, then also we will be able to calculate. Right? Now this formula, children, we use when these bond dissociation enthalpies are given in terms of kilocalories per mole. In terms of kilocalories per mole, then we use this formula. Okay, this was given by Pauling. Now in case the bond dissociation enthalpies are given in kilojoules per mole, then we use instead of this value we use 0.1017, right? And the remaining thing is the same. It is EAB minus root of EAA into EBB. Right? Only thing is this. Instead of kilo, this is the constant you are using in case these bond dissociation enthalpies are given in kilojoules per mole. If it is in kilocalories per mole, we will be using the first formula. Got it? Now on the basis of this, Pauling calculated the values. He took the reference of fluorine as constant. With that, we should be knowing their values. As per Pauling, he has calculated the values. Fluorine, he took reference. So using this, he put the other values. So fluorine is 4. Then comes oxygen. Then it is nitrogen and chlorine both same. Then it is bromine. Then these two are same. Iodine and this, and even so sulfur is also 2.5, 3 elements having 2.5, and hydrogen is 2.1. So he could place them like this. Most electronegative is fluorine, then is oxygen, then is nitrogen. Nitrogen is equal to chlorine. Okay, after that, after that it is Br. After Br you have 3 elements the same, that is iodine, sulfur, carbon. These 3 are same, and after that you have is, even you can write down here for phosphorus. Phosphorus is 2.1. So you can write down for this, you have phosphorus and hydrogen same. Okay, so you can remember like this. It is FONCl, Fonsil, then you have Br, then ISC, then pH. Okay, this is 4, 3.5, 3, 2.8 or 2.5, and this is 2.1. This will be required in some applications of electronegativity. We will be discussing it just now. Applications of electronegativity. Now let's see first one. First one is naming. We must have never realized naming of the some compounds. Naming of all the compounds, in fact, it's only on the basis of electronegativity. Like HCl, we do not call this as chlorine hydride, we call it as hydrogen chloride. NaCl, you name it as sodium chloride, not the reverse. You can take any example. You can take 2 interhalogen compounds are there, CLF. You will name it as chlorine fluoride, not fluorine chloride. Okay, chlorine fluoride, this is the correct name. Suppose I write BRF3, I will name this as bromine trifluoride. Okay, always the more electronegative element is named at the end, less electronegative element is named first. Got it? Second application is percentage of ionic character in covalent bond. This is the formula, children, to calculate the percentage ionic character. 16 into chi A minus chi B, electronegativity of 2 combining atoms, plus 3.5 into chi A minus chi B square. Suppose we want to calculate for HF. We know the electronegativity of hydrogen is 2.1, and we know for fluorine it is 4. So what is the difference? 1.9. So if you put the value here 1.9 and you put the value here 1.9 square, right? Instead of this you put it here and you calculate, you will get the answer as 43%. So the percentage ionic, even covalent bonds may have some ionic character in them based upon what is the difference in the electronegativity. So likewise, children, you can try it on your own. What is the percentage ionic character in HCl? You can calculate in HI, you can calculate in HBr. I told you what is the electronegativity of chlorine, 3. You know for iodine it is 2.5, and we know for bromine it is 2.8, right? So we know this is 2.1. And check the difference, calculate it. You can try this out on your own, calculate the percentage ionic character for these 3. Okay, so you can calculate for any compound, using this formula. Third application, bond strength. Okay, suppose we are asked, HF, HCl, HBr, HI, which is strongest? Which is strongest? You can see if the electronegativity difference is more, the bond strength also will be more. Bond strength is also more. You can check here the electronegativity. Okay, so if the electronegative difference is more, it is strong bond. Here, sometimes you can be also asked, arrange them in the increasing order of the acidic nature. So what you will say, more the bond strength, lesser will be the acidic nature. So this will be the acidic nature. If the bond is strong, means it will not break easily. If it is not breaking easily, means it will not give H easily. This is weak bond, that means this will give out H easily. Any species which can liberate hydrogen easily will be more acidic. So you can have all these, as the application questions from here, right? The next application is metallic or non-metallic character. Now metallic or non-metallic character, again we know if the electronegativity value is high, we will say it is non-metallic, and for metals the electronegativity value is low. It is low. Means normally you will find for metals it is less than 1. It is less than 1. For non-metals it is more than 1. Okay, the values already we have discussed. I think you have followed all the applications of electronegativity. Fine. I hope you are also preparing notes. In between you can pause it and make the notes, and if you like it you can like the video, and if you have any doubts you can put it in the comment section, and thank you for watching.